Alright guys, welcome to part 3 of the 650 go-kart build. As you guys know, last video we took the motor apart, we got the head off, the cylinder off, and we found out that the pistons were all stuck in here, but they're actually looking pretty good. These rings are stuck on this one, but everything else is pretty much free, and the cylinders don't look too bad either. You can see them over here. They're not horrible, they're not scratched up or anything, which is really good. You can kind of see just have a little bit of surface rust in there. So you can just take some steel wool and go in there and get all that crap out of there. But really, it's really not that bad. I found some gaskets online that I ordered on eBay. And then what we're gonna do today is put the pistons in the ultrasonic cleaner and see if we can loosen up these rings on this piston and just see if we can get that rust off of there. If not, we'll order up a new piston and rings and then see what happens. But it spins over, everything works on this thing, so I think we'll be good to go. And after that's all done, we'll put everything back together and then work on the electronics, which is going to be a big part of this because right now I don't even know if it has spark or anything. So stay tuned, let's start taking out the pistons and dunking them in the ultrasonic cleaner. Alright guys, first piston is off of here. It's kind of unique because it doesn't have any bearing inside of here. So this is all it has. Just this, the wrist pin, and then the piston. And I'm just going to put this whole thing in the ultrasonic cleaner. See what happens here. Looks like the top ring might be stuck a little bit actually on this one. So it'll be good to put that in there. See if we can get it all cleaned up. It'll be interesting to see if the carbon comes off the top. If it doesn't, we're going to scrub the carbon off the top and then get some of that on the inside off of there as well. So these pistons should look brand new when they're out. So let's get this in here. Put this guy in, and then I also have the two little pins that come with it right here. Put those in there as well. And then wrist pin can go in there. And then I'll start it up for, let's see here, 15 minutes. And then while that's going, I'll probably get the other piston out of there. Alright, so we're working on the cylinders right now. We've got the Scotch Brite pad right here. You want to get some WD-40 going on, probably.
Soapy water right there.
And then we've got the exit out stuff right here. This stuff is working really well. But we've got the two outside ones cleaned already, and then the one inside right here. And it took off all the rust. So that's working really, really well. So we'll continue with this process here. Spray that in there. Oof. Good to breathe in. This one by far has the most rust in it. So the two center ones had the most rust. The two outer ones were pretty much perfect. This one is the only one with the piston that didn't have the ring stuck. So I don't know if it was on a tilt where the water just went over to this side. I'm not sure. Kind of strange. You can kind of see what we're looking at in there. Kind of see the walls. Looking pretty good. So we'll work on those a bit more, and then we'll go into the pistons. Alright, so we've been working on the pistons for quite a while. They look basically brand new. You want to spin the rings for us there, Chuck? All the rings are loose. Those were all stuck before. And then the oil ring at the bottom. Check that out.
I can't really grip it, but
yeah, it's loose. So
there we go.
Then the tops we decarbon. That's, I mean, that's as good as it's gonna get right there. And then here's the one that was really bad. All the rings were stuck in that one. The cylinder was all rusty on that one. So those are pretty good to go, I'd say.
Yeah.
And then got the gasket good to go. Base gasket good to go. So we're ready to put this whole thing on. Check out the cylinder. All the cylinders are perfect. Scraped off the gasket off of the base. So we're good to go there. And the cylinders are really, really smooth. The only imperfection is right in there. You can see it a little bit, but you can barely feel it. So not bad at all. The whole crank spins really smoothly when I spin it over. Just kind of show them.
Oh,
Here, I'll
chain.
Okay, go for it. Yeah, good to go. Super smooth, so we should be all set. I'm just waiting on one more piston, and then we'll try to attempt to put it back together. Should be pretty exciting. And then after that, we've got a lot of work. We've got all the carburetors, 4 of them. Those need to be all ultrasonic cleaned. We've got, what else do we have? All the throttle cables and brake cable, clutch cable. And then the wiring is another big one. But I'm thinking the next thing after we put the motor back together will be getting the throttle cable and all that stuff. Or the wiring, I don't know, we'll pick when we get there. All right, so we're reinstalling the pistons. Check these out. So we've got all the rings loose and oiled up. Everything's oiled up. We're just waiting on the third piston. There's one ring stuck at the very top. So every other ring is free and the pistons are decarboned. Everything's good to go. Do you see any imperfections in them? I think they look great.
Yeah, they look good.
I mean, look how nice those are compared to what they were.
Mm-hmm.
Got one more coming, and then you want to show them the valves here. So, yeah, check that out.
They don't look too bad.
No. We had to decarbon those, and then they all move, so that's good. You can lay it back down. Yeah, you can see it moving. Ooh, that one came up a little bit. Want to push them in a little bit? Yep. So Charlie checked every single one, and they all move freely. So that's good. They did look like they were frozen at one point, but they're not anymore. We should probably vacuum out the crap in there too.
Yeah.
Got some leaves and crap in there. But everything's good to go. We've got the cylinders all good to go. The head all good to go. Just waiting on the one piston. So once we get the piston done, we'll start putting this thing back together. Alright, so it looks like we got the cylinder back on. And we'll quick turn it over for you guys. See if it's smooth. Oh yeah. That's awesome. I'd say that's pretty good. So we're gonna get the rest of the stuff back on it, and hopefully we can put it back together correctly. I think so. This is bad.
Yeah. Feels spanky. That's about 30 pounds. Seems pretty good.
Yeah. Alright guys, it's the next day. I'm working on this beast of a machine. So we're working on the camshafts right now. I had to research a bunch of this to try to figure this out on how to time this thing. So basically the exhaust camshaft right here, you can tell it's the exhaust one because it has the groove for the speedometer right there, or tachometer. That's basically how you can tell that. If you guys were wondering, it's got that, and then it's got a couple different letters on it right here. But that's the rear one, and then this is the front one right here. And there's markings on it right here, so you can see in with a line, Z7EX, Z6EX, Z7EX with a line, and this is in. So what you want to do is put the Z7EX parallel and spot on to the valve cover right here, this head, this surface right here. So that line, Z7EX, should be perfectly parallel to this line and perfectly lined up. And then on the intake, it should be the in line. You can see it right there, in it says, and that should be parallel and like perfectly aligned with this surface. So, little close-up look of it. You can see the in with the line, that should be parallel to that. And then the Z7EX should be parallel to that surface. And then if you go down here, this is the part that was kind of a little bit tricky for me. I'll show you guys on here how to find top dead center on here. Usually they're on the outside, but I'll show you where the T is on this. So you're supposed to find the T and then align it with the mark. And so the T is really far in that hole. I don't know if you guys can see it, but you can see the T mark right in there. And that's supposed to be lined up with a little notch that's in up there. So once you find top dead center, it will be top dead center for the two pistons right here, 1, and cylinder 4 over here. So it's either 1 or 4 and 4 or 1. I'm not sure which one is which, but these will be at the top of the cylinder. You can check it with a screwdriver. It's kind of poking there, and it will be, the piston will be like right at the top, and then these will be really far in. So you know you have top dead center when those are at the top of the cylinder. And then what you want to do is line those up perfectly, and then we're going to bolt these down with the correct pattern. I believe it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Then there's a torque spec on those. So let's do that and then come back to it, and then that should be in time. Also, before you do any of that, in order to get the chain to be loose enough, you have to take out the cam chain tensioner. It's just sitting right here. The spring goes over that bolt right in there like that, and then this just pops off. So that just goes on there like that. But you want to take that off so the chain can be, so the chain isn't super tight. But yeah, that's the process. Had to look that up on a bunch of forums. YouTube actually didn't have the whole process for a KZ650, so that is the process. Basically, I was just looking, what mark to line it up as, and that's that. So let's continue this process and finish this thing up. Alright guys, I'm running into a little bit of a problem here. I'm trying to attach this camshaft, both of these, and I've got them lined up perfectly, but I've got a ton of slack up here on the chain. And then watch when I try to spin this over. I don't know if it's like not connected down to the sprocket or what, but check this out. It's like really weird, it just binds up. So I'll spin the flywheel, and it's gonna lock up, watch this. Locks up right there. I can go the other way. locks up. Locks up again, but if I loosen these up, now it spins freely. So if anyone can tell me what that is, I'm not sure, but if it's tightened down all the way, it won't go. But if it's up a little bit, it will go. So it doesn't really make sense. I'm trying to figure out what the heck it is. Yeah, I'm kind of stumped. I've looked at forums and it doesn't really explain it, but it's just not working out. Doing a couple wheelies on the Venom quad. Tipped it over. Dude. They come off? I glued that thing back on it. I had to caulk that thing back on it. Almost ate it. Alright, I'm leaving.